Thanks for staying with us here on Headlines Now, here on Ndtv-Hindu. A very special story now from the city of Chennai. You see them living on platforms every day, but their numbers hardly register. We are told that 40,000 people in Chennai live on pavements with no roof over their heads. Although they don't have a legal claim to the space they encroach on, resettling them has become a huge challenge for successive governments. Our reporter Pratiksha took a walk on the pavement to get the full picture.
Bhavani is preparing breakfast for her family on a side of the busy Ratan Bazaar road as she has for years. She dreams of a roof, but the reality is this tree on the pavement has been her home always.
நாங்க பாட்டம் பாப்பில இருந்து இருக்கோம் தலைமுறையா நாங்க ரொம்ப காலம் வருஷங்களமா கடவறோம் நாங்க அது வீட்டுக்கு போலனா நாங்க எந்த வீட்டு வரமளவே நாங்க எந்த வீட்டுக்கு போறது காத்து மழை அச்சாலும் குழந்தைங்க பிறந்தா கூட நாங்க பச்சை புள்ளி போட்டுங்க தான் இருப்போம் நாங்க அந்த கடை ஓரத்துல தான்.
The younger generation say they live on the edge. Girls say they don't even have the privacy to change their clothes, while the young men say they face all kinds of threats if they step out to buy something after 10 p.m.
என்னன்னா ஒரு 9 மணி 10 மணிக்கு மேல அப்படி அங்கனா போனோம் சாப்பாடு வாங்கிட்டு வரணும் கொள்ளணும் அப்படின்றாங்க. நான் ஒரு சந்தேக கேஸ்ல பிடிப்பாங்க வந்து. அவங்க உனக்கு கேஸ் போட்டுக்கறேன் நீ போ மொபைல் கோர்ட்ல கட்டிக்கணும். நாங்க நேரா போய்ட்டு அங்க ஜட்ஜ் ஐயா இருப்பாரு. என்னப்பா இந்த மாதிரி சண்டை பண்ணா இல்ல யா தெரியாத பண்ணிட்டேனா ஒரு 300 ரூபாய் இல்ல 500 ரூபாய் அது ஃபைன் போடுவோம்.
NGOs working with them say their problems are very intricate. Always looked upon as encroachers or thieves, shelters and government support is the need of the hour.
One, the most important is the shelter. And the shelter has to be located within the 3 kilometers as per the Supreme Court guidelines. Now, as in place, there are 6 shelters in Chennai. But however, the Supreme Court guidelines says before December 31st, 2010, there should have been 10 shelters.
Chennai Corporation officials say despite the huge constraints in real estate space, they are trying to speed things up.
We are trying to put up 7 more, maybe in another 3 months' time. So we are trying to locate some space near this place so that they can stay in those night shelters. But there is a problem of constraint of space.
NGOs say this is just a beginning. They say a focus should be laid on providing adequate facilities like safety, education and healthcare to these people. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar for Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, hordes of students want to get into Delhi University, but this young man with 88% is giving it a miss. Take a look at this special, insightful story.
Vanshaj Bhasin busy checking the websites of foreign universities. He scored 88% in the class 12 CBSE exams, but has not got a seat in the preferred course, Economic Honours, in any of the top colleges of Delhi University. Vanshaj says he's even willing to lose a year if he gets a good alternative outside Delhi.
When other people start thinking within the school that they're not going to get good marks, you also feel that there is a chance that I'm also not going to get good marks. So then the people try for UK, Bombay. I will try giving SAT. SAT exam is for US, and if you get a 2200 score out of 24, you can go into Stanford. And they'll start the winter batches also. So the winter batches would start from Jan.
There has been mass outrage with Delhi University cut-offs hitting the roof. But experts say this was expected. The number of CBSE students scoring 90% has almost doubled this year, with 70 of Vanshaj's classmates alone falling in that bracket.
Educationists and principals both agree that this imbalance between supply of students and demand of seats in colleges has led to a brain drain over the past few years. None of them see cut-offs going down in the immediate future. So could the answer lie in increasing the number of seats in Delhi University?
Currently, Delhi University has 54,000 seats. St. Stephen's principal Valsan Thampu believes the number of seats needs to be raised. Thampu had written to university authorities last year asking them to raise the seats in 3 courses, but that proposal never took off.
I have a copy of the report of the committee, the inspection committee sent by the university. One is that it's difficult to get good teachers in economics. The second reason they advocated was that, this whole confusion about semesterization needs to settle down. My response to that is semestrarization is not the creation of St. Stephen's College. Why should St. Stephen's College be affected by something that is extraneous to itself?
Meanwhile, Vanshaj has taken admission in a BA course in Delhi University. But what about many others like him who have scored even less marks? In New Delhi with Tanima Biswas, Vega Bakshi for NDTV.
Now staying with education, as the 9-member expert committee delves into the uniform syllabus row, we bring you a cry from the heart of a student who felt discriminated just because she belonged to the ICSE stream and didn't get marks as high as her counterparts from the state board.
Well, on the sidelines of the Hindu's newspaper in education program, here's a case study that in many ways reflects the real problem today with the syllabus issue. I'm now joined by a student of Zion School. What exactly is your problem? Why do you feel so strongly about this?
My name is Pavitra and I'm in Zion and I'm studying 11. I'm a student of ICSE and I think I got a 77, a decent mark as well. But when I tried for, when there was admissions in schools, I had applied for all the schools and I was only selected in Zion, which valued ICSE. I tried even in Sita Devi, they said you just got a 54 in science. But that's not the case. I studied ICSE and I think it should be valued. I got 74 in maths. They say you got only 74 in maths and how do you expect a first group? Students who secured so many marks in state board is state board. ICSE is something which is much more bigger than that, sir. And people think ICSE, students who study in ICSE and get 64, they are dumb. How can they do that? I really feel so bad. And there is a difference between state board students and ICSE students. State board students are just the base. ICSE students, they must value them, sir. Exactly in Tamil Nadu, it doesn't happen at all. They just look at your marks and say, okay, you're rejected, ma'am.
Well, education is not complete with just math and science. One needs much more than that to survive in the increasingly competitive world. The Hindu takes the effort to make sure that students are ready to take on the world outside their schools through the newspaper in education program. Scoring a centum in math and science might make you the class topper, but in today's competitive world, that may not be enough. The Hindu's NIE, newspaper and education program, helps give students that extra edge.
So the knowledge they gain, it covers everything, social issues, financial issues, academic issues. So many issues are now the children are facing, which children really get to know, and they are updated with the knowledge they gain from newspaper. So we planned this newspaper should be made part of curriculum. For standard 1 to 9, we really allot marks. So 15 marks for quarterly and 20 marks for offline annual. In a way, it puts a kind of compulsion on the part of the children to learn newspaper, read newspaper, study newspaper like textbooks, and therefore they are updated with the knowledge, and it will be beneficial to them later on when they go for any competitive examination like UPSC.
NIE aims at increasing the general knowledge of the students and awareness about the world around them, along with developing their personalities and communication skills. In fact, one can learn much more by reading the newspaper regularly than from any of their regular textbooks.
This is a textbook that you can keep from class, I guess from the time you learn to read, from class 4 till class 12 and beyond. Any interview, any job interview, let me tell you this, no one looks at your marks.
Complete personality that interviewers look for, you don't have to look beyond newspaper in education. Make sure you take the newspaper to school every day. In Chennai with reporter Panchami, Natasha for NDTV-Hindu. Well, moving on now, the government is likely to call an all-party meeting to resolve the impasse over the Lokpal bill. The Congress core group held a meeting this morning at the Prime Minister's residence in New Delhi to discuss the issue. Sources have told us that the top Congress leaders have decided to call an all-party meet to discuss various issues of the Lokpal bill, including whether the Prime Minister should come under the Lokpal or not. The core group, which met for the second time in the last 12 hours, also discussed the Telangana issue, but there was no decision on it as yet. Rain has halted the POSCO land acquisition in this Jagat Singhpur. Again, the administration will resume work on Monday. The Rajo festival interrupted the confrontation between the protesters and the police, and work was to resume yesterday, but was abandoned due to rain that was quite heavy in the area. But the human barricade is back to stop the police force from entering the area. Women, children and men sit under umbrellas in the rain, refusing to move. Social activist Swami Agnivesh was also at the spot to mobilize support for the anti-POSCO protesters. Well, after almost 3 weeks since the close of the IPL, Gautam Gambhir finally opens up to NDTV about his controversial cricketing choices. That's coming up in just a bit.